Hey guys, so here we are with an example of how to use the standard algorithm for subtraction. In this example, we have to do some borrowing across zeros, or subtracting across zeros, and this can be a little bit difficult. So here's your example. First of all, as always, you want to make sure your digits are lined up so that they're in the correct place value. So sometimes I like to draw lines to make sure that my numbers are lined up. So you can see the 1s, the 3, and the 7 should both be in the 1s column. These two zeros in the next column indicate that there's no 10s in either number. The 0 and the 5 are in the hundreds column. So the first number has no hundreds in that position, and the second number has 5 hundreds. And then the 0 and the 7 in the thousands place. And finally, a 1 in the 10,000s place. So my problem is 10,003 minus 7,507. The next thing that I want to do is I want to begin, as always, in the 1s position. So I like to draw that little arrow to remind myself that I always start on the right side with my 1s. 3 minus 7. If I have 3 cookies, I can't take away 7. I don't have enough, so I have to do what we call in math borrowing. Another way I like to say this, or another way to remember when I have to borrow, is bigger bottom, better borrow. If the number on the bottom is larger or bigger, you can't do the subtraction. So because 7 is bigger than 3, I need to jump over into my tens column. In this case, I can't borrow any because there are no 10s in this number. So I'm going to hop over another place value into my hundreds. Here I come across the same problem. There's nothing to borrow because I don't have any hundreds yet. I'm going to jump into the thousands column. Again, there's nothing to borrow because it's a 0 in that position. But finally, when I jump into the 10,000s column, I can because there's a 1 there. So I'm going to do what I call regrouping. I'm taking that 10,000 and I'm going to regroup it into 10,000s. So to do that, I can simply put a 1 in front of the 0 in the thousands place. So now it shows that I have 10 thousands, or 10,000. Now I can borrow one, and I can regroup those 10,000s. I'm going to borrow one of them. So instead of having 10,000s, I now have 9,000. If I put a 1 in front of the 0 in the hundreds column, that means that I have 10 hundreds. I'm going to borrow from there. I'm going to borrow 100, so I have 900 left. And I'm going to put a 10 in front of the 0 in the tens position, which means 10 tens, or 100. I'm going to borrow one of my 10s, so now I'm left with 9 tens. And finally, in my 1s position, I now, instead of having 3, have 13. So finally, now I'm able to subtract 7 from 13, which I know is 6. So I can write a 6 in the 1s column. Now if I go over to my 10s, 9 minus 0 is 9. You don't have to do any regrouping for that one. If I go into the hundreds column, 9 minus 5 is 4. I'm going to go over to the left into the thousands column. 9 minus 7 is 2. And then in the 10,000s column, I don't have anything left there because remember, I had regrouped that one 10,000 into 10,000. So there's nothing left for me to do. Except I need to remember to put my little comma in between the thousands and hundreds place, And finally, my answer is 2,496.